I used to think silence was the safest place to hide. But that night at the steakhouse, surrounded by people who were supposed to know me best, silence felt like suffocating. My father had dragged me there, another one of his networking dinners, and from the second I walked through the door I could feel his disappointment like heat on my skin. He looked me up and down, black turtleneck, boots, dark jeans, and said quietly, "That's what you're wearing?" He wanted me in a suit. He always wanted me in a suit. I told him I was dressed fine. He sighed, the kind of sigh that said, "Please don't embarrass me tonight." To him, my company wasn't real work. He called it a warehouse job, as if I were lifting boxes in the back of a truck. He never wanted to hear what it actually was, what I had built with my own hands, with my own sleepless nights. We walked into that private dining room. 8 people already there. Lawyers, finance guys, executives with their polished smiles. My sister, Claire, was glowing in her designer armor, every detail curated to scream success. She smirked at me, tilted her head, and said, "Casual Friday came early." The laugh around the table stung, but I kept my face still. Introductions began. My father, with pride in his voice, said, "This is my daughter, Ava. She's between opportunities right now." I corrected him softly. "I run a software company." He waved a hand, apologizing to his friends. "She works in warehouses. We're hoping she'll move into something more professional soon." I could have stopped everything right there. I could have told them the truth, that the company I founded wasn't some side project. That it had grown into 127 employees and contracts with some of the largest retailers in the country. That last year alone, we cleared hundreds of millions in revenue. But what was the point? For 5 years, every time I tried, my father shut me down. To him, dropping out of business school meant I had failed. Nothing I achieved after that mattered. Claire leaned toward the woman beside her, not bothering to lower her voice. "She's been doing this warehouse thing for years. Mom and Dad are mortified." I looked her in the eye and said, "I can hear you." She smiled, sharp as glass. "Good." I ate my salad in silence, checking my phone under the table for updates from my CTO. We were deploying software across nearly 50 distribution centers that night. My father snapped. "Put the phone away. It's rude." I said, "I'm working." He laughed. "Working? You're at dinner." I answered, "If this rollout fails, it costs our client millions." One man at the table raised an eyebrow. 47 centers? That sounds significant. Before I could answer, Claire cut in. "She has an active imagination. She works out of her apartment. Drives a Honda." I set my fork down. "We have a 12,000 square foot office in Long Island City. I drive a Honda because it doesn't break down." The table chuckled politely, no one really believing me. Then one of the lawyers asked, "What's the name of your company?" I told him. He pulled out his phone, typed, froze. His voice was different when he spoke again. "You founded this?" "Ava, this company is everywhere. They dominate the logistics market." The room went still. My father's smile stiffened. "She's been working on some project," he muttered. The lawyer kept reading. "Your company made $340 million last year." The silence was heavy. Claire's face drained of color. "That can't be real," she whispered. But the lawyer turned his phone so she could see. It was my face in article after article. My name on awards and keynotes. My company listed beside giants, and then, as if the universe wanted to burn the truth into the room, the television mounted on the wall flickered louder. Bloomberg. A segment already running. My interview, filmed weeks earlier, filled the screen. The cheer-in read, "Ava Mercer, founder and CEO of Nexera Systems." I watched myself speaking calmly about scaling internationally, about optimizing billions in inventory flow, about closing our next funding round. The anchor's voice echoed. At just 27, Ava Mercer's company is now valued at over $1.3 billion. The word billion hung in the air like thunder. At the table, no one moved. Claire's fork clattered against her plate. My father's lips parted, but no words came out. I wanted to laugh. For years, I tried to show them. I mentioned Forbes. I mentioned conferences, funding rounds, clients. And every time, they rolled their eyes. Called it my hobby. My little warehouse job. But now, with cameras and anchors and billion-dollar headlines, suddenly they were listening. My father finally whispered, "Why didn't you tell us?" My chest tightened. I did. You just didn't believe me. Because it didn't look like success to you. I wasn't wearing a suit. I wasn't driving the car you wanted. I got my hands dirty in warehouses, learning problems before solving them. And because of that, you decided I was a failure. He lowered his head. I was wrong. I'm so sorry. Claire swallowed hard. Me too. I mocked you. I was jealous. And I thought you were nothing. Her voice cracked. Turns out, you were building everything. And still, part of me felt nothing but emptiness. Because their apologies weren't about me, they were about appearances. About how they looked for not knowing. My phone buzzed again. A text from my CTO, deployment complete. 0 errors. Client ecstatic. I typed back, tell the team bonuses are coming. They earned it. I slipped my phone away, looked around that table of powerful men and women who had spent 2 hours dismissing me, and said quietly, while we've been sitting here, my team just made it possible for one of the largest retailers in the country to handle Black Friday 30% more efficiently. That's real work. That's what I do. And the strangest thing? None of them had anything left to say. Here's what I've learned. Sometimes the people closest to you will write your story before you've had a chance to tell it. They'll decide who you are, and they'll cling to that version, no matter what you accomplish. But when the truth finally forces its way into the room, it doesn't just change how they see you, it changes how they see themselves. So let me ask you this, who in your life has already written the wrong story about you? And when your moment comes, when the truth is undeniable, will you still want their approval, or will you already have outgrown it?